Hello, my beautiful Libras. How are you? Welcome to Divine Reminders. My name is Akita Akari Aurora, and this is my first spiel of Divine Reminders that I'm doing. These readings are intended to wake up your soul, remind you of your soul mission, nourish your soul, not wake your soul up, but to nourish your soul and to remind you of your soul mission, your path, and your purpose, right? We all need reminders sometimes, signs, symbols, those messages that just speak so deep to us. And we're like, yeah, that's what I'm here for. And take us a little beyond our physicality and really tap into our soul missions, right? I decided to do them with this week because the eclipse is tomorrow, 5/5. And we've had such a dynamic, potent week, a lot of activation going on, not just this week, well, a lot of activation this week, but also this month is a very, very pivotal month. I've themed this month as manifestation and meditation, specifically because, a lot of things that we've been doing are going to manifest this month and reveal itself and show us things. It's a very important month for us to come into stillness and ground ourselves and meditate and think and contemplate and reflect so that we can move forward in alignment with what we are here to do and just receive that bump up into our next selves and our expanded version of ourselves in order to continue on our soul path, purpose, and mission. So all of these are reminders, divine reminders for our soul path, our purpose. I'm using 3 decks: the Starseed Oracle deck, right? It's going to give us some nice hints and reminders and tell us what we need to work on, maybe, and some inquiries that will help us to contemplate, reflect, meditate, and also some of them giving us some real actions to do in order to get to our best selves, right? And then I'm also going to use the Cosmic Journey deck. This deck asks us some deep questions also for our cosmic journey, reminding us of our talents and our attributes. And again, these little sparks that just speak deeply to us and like, you know what? Yes, that's what I'm here to do, right? Step out of the small version and, dive into the bigger version of our stories. And small, large, just next, really, because every portion of our path is purposeful, and whatever you're doing today is required for today. But let's not get stuck in today. Let's move on to tomorrow. And also remember that we're always preparing ourselves for our next thing in the now, right? So if we align all that together, then we end up having a smoother path, or a smoother spiral, I should say, because we're always spiraling in and out or up and down or something, right? We're always in some spiral formation. Hopefully we're always spiraling in and spiraling out so we can rise on up. All right, so the Cosmic Journey is going to also give us, Cosmic Journey deck is also going to give us some divine reminders and reminding us, hey, what am I here to do? What's my purpose? What's my mission? And then also giving us some nice nuggets to feed and nourish that soul that we have, that soul mission and that soul purpose, okay? And we're going to also look at the light activation deck and see, as we move through this powerfully, magically manifesting, meditative, what's another M? Magical month of May. We are also going to see how we are being activated, right? What gateways and activations we are going through as well. So Libras, we'll find out how you getting activated this month, what to look out for, right? What to be aware of. Okay, so that is what this divine reminder reading is all about. It's for your soul. Just for you and your soul. Okay. And I truly hope it serves you. All right, let's see what divine reminders we have for our Libras. Oh. Okay, a little jumpy. Calm down, Libras. Come on down. A little patience. All right. I hope everybody is having a wonderful week so far. May. I don't know why I forget I like May so much, but I do. And how powerfully potent May is. You know, we go through 12 months and every month has its own energy, really does. And then we do it all over again. Do it all over again. This month is a really good month to tap into the elements of air and the element of earth. I'm using this month of May to do just that. Again, that when we meditate, we're grounding ourselves into this earthly existence, right? We ground ourselves into the earth. And even when we walk, we're grounding, right? And so we're tapping into the earth element, but we're also taking a moment of silence and creating sacred space. And a lot of that is, again, silence, tapping into the air, right? Breathing, doing all of that beautiful breath work. And doing that breath work allows the expansion. So with everything that's happening this May, the astrological alignments, the conjunctions with Mercury with the sun, Mercury with, I think, with Jupiter, you know, with all of those conjunctions, we come in, but then we go in order to contemplate. And once it goes, when Mercury and Jupiter hook up, we're going forward, we're expanding with that which we contemplated and reflected with, right? So this month is a very important month, right? To really anchor yourself and flow. I've also launched Anchor to Flow. And really, this is the perfect month because this is what we're doing this month. It's so important to get anchored and then to flow with your missions, right? So let's see how our Libras, right? Balance and harmony. Let's see how justice and balance, right? Let's see how our Libras are being activated first and foremost, and then what divine reminders are coming in for you, Libras. I think that's good. Let's see. Anunnaki light codes. Lovely. Energetic shift, new information, and the end of a cycle. Lovely. All right, Libras. Yeah, I told y'all May is potent, right? So that's a beautiful activation. Anunnaki light codes. Lovely. And we're going to get some divine reminders for your cosmic journey as you end the cycle and begin, like I said, you know, we're this week in particular, contemplate stillness, you know, reflection, and then we move forward, you know, putting some more endings in place, seals on the endings, and starting the new beginnings, because there are no endings without beginnings, and there are no beginnings without endings, you know. So it's important that we complete and close chapters and just do what we need to do in order to move forward. You know, sometimes you don't close the door completely, but you definitely take a step forward by one step, you know, just doing something that says, you know what, I'm a step further away than I was yesterday, last week, or a step closer than I was yesterday, last week, or last month, just by one action, you know? So sometimes the universe is just calling us to take that next step towards our ending, towards our beginning. All right, so let's see what cosmic journey there for you. Divine reminders there for you, Libra. Every cycle is a higher opportunity. So Libra, y'all are really spiraling up. All right. I love it. I love it. I love it. So every cycle is a higher opportunity. I love that. And that's literally exactly where we are now this week. We are cycling up to the higher opportunities for ourselves, right? Individually and collectively. I love it. I love it. All right. And the universe wants to remind you that, hey, everything is a cycle, right? And remember that every cycle, every time we spin, we're going through the next, we're expected to bring ourselves to the next level of a cycle. And that's so important to know, because I remember I literally just said, these months, we go through these months, and let's see how the starseed, what the starseed oracle deck has for you, Libras. But we go through these months where, and then 12 months, and then 12 months, and then 12 months. It's just cycle. It's literally a cycle, and then a cycle, and then a cycle, and then the cycles within cycles, and then cycles within cycles. And that's what I love, right? That's what I came to look at, the cycles within the cycles within the cycles. And I enjoy that. But what I really, I guess the juice that I get out of that is that there's so many cycles within this 12-month cycle that we experience, and the calendars that we use. That's why the calendars are so important, because really the calendar is your framework for that cycle. And sometimes we're using a calendar that is old and outdated, literally, and we need to merge ourselves with more of a calendar that's more aligned with ourselves. The calendar that I've been using for the last, specifically, there's a calendar that I've been using for the last 5 years. Yeah, for the last 5 years, that is my soul calendar. It is my 5D galactic calendar. That calendar speaks to my soul journey, literally exactly what they're talking about here, as opposed to my 3D, it's Monday, Columbus Day. You know what I mean? So there's cycles in life. And within this whole 365-day calendar, even in that, there's a cycle that we're on. Seasons, the 4 seasons are cycles within the bigger cycle. And in one cycle, the earth is growing, and the other cycle, the earth is resting, and the other cycle, the earth is shedding. So every cycle the earth goes through brings it towards a higher opportunity. And we're in a grand, big, old cycle now too, of ascension or the Great Reset, and within that cycle, we are also coming to a higher opportunity. So the universe really wants you to merge with all of those cycles, whatever it is, and realize that, hey, every one of them, whether it's the interconnected cycle within yourself, the cycles within the cycles of the season, or the grand cycle, or just the cycle within your life that you see, hey, I've been here before and now I'm back here. Well, hey, it's a new opportunity for you. It's a higher opportunity for you. Remember what you did with the last cycle. Contemplate, reflect, and then say, what am I going to do differently? Or what did I do last time that was so good, that worked for me? What did I do last time that wasn't so good? and I still need to work on, and or I need to release, or I need to learn more about, So look at those cycles, and it'll be interesting to see what, to close this all together, what oh, and every cycle was number 13. Yeah, that's definitely coming through. And let's see what happens here. Let's see what Spirit confirms with your star seed. Definitely with your star seed, the star seed oracle card. Something flew out. Let's see if it comes back. All right, yeah, so this is a very powerful month. Very powerful and potent May. So Libras, do your release, shift, access, allow yourself. I always talk about allowance. Things happen that we allow to happen, and we have to open up and receive and release in order to make room for the new things. So allow the transformation, allow the shifts, allow the new information, ground them in so you really understand and embody the changes. And I think that's a big part of life. It's this knowing, but you can know it forever and never really embody it. And I think the way we really end a cycle is to embody that new information that really the universe is asking us to now become. Because there's being and there's becoming, right? So there's always this shift of gears from, hey, I'm becoming something, I'm being this. I'm being this now, but I'm becoming something. And really, that's the never ending cycle of our life, really, right? Being to becoming, becoming to being, and the releasing and the receiving that we do in order to be and become, so that's an interesting reality or perception of evolution, life, rebirth, and death, all are one. So let's see, Libra. Let's see. Karmic relationships. Yeah, I like that. That makes perfect sense. They're all actually connected. Yes. So our karmic relationships, time to put those to an end. You know what I mean? Or look at them clearly and see, hey, are these karmic relationships in my life? Are these trauma-based karmic relationships? Are these healthy relationships? What is it here that the universe is really showing me, the divine reminder through this karmic relationship? So let's look at it. Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, and conflict. Yeah, I told you these star seed cards, they get deep. So we leave them to the last one. Let's go into the books. All right, so the first one we're going to look at is the Anunnaki codes, and this is basically your activation through May. Right, and remember, it says ending a cycle, shifting new information. So there's going to be some clearing and some shadow work there. I can definitely see that, because we always need to do that in order, again, to allow the new information to come in. His cycle. All right. So Anunnaki light codes, and I think that's at the beginning of the book. I'm not going to get too deep into the Anunnaki conversation or whatnot, because again, this is energy. Everything is energy. And it's for you to understand who you are, not really who the Anunnakis are. I mean, you can always learn that, but here is, you can really boil everything down to energy, right? Energy, colors, and numbers. It's just energy. Everything is energy. All right. So it says the Anunnaki are a race of cosmic light beings who have been coming to Earth since ancient ones. The Sumerians and Babylonians acknowledged them as the deities who governed the space between the worlds. The divine leader of the incredible race is the goddess Ishtar. The Anunnaki have taken many forms throughout the ages. They have an angelic warrior-like quality and have appeared with wings, sometimes up to 4, and with an elongated head and face similar to that of an eagle. So I just wanted to give you some little background information. And again, go and, everybody has their own little version and story of these things. So, if the Anunnakis intrigue you, go ahead and continue your research and get to know this energy, because it's this energy that they want you to actually connect with now. You might find different stories about who they are and what they are and their significance, but hey, it's time. This is a divine reminder for you. You'll get something out of it. All right. So how to connect? It says, say, Anunnaki, Anunnaki, Anunnaki. I welcome in the presence of the Anunnaki people. Thank you, angelic cosmic beings, for immersing my energy body in your light codes. Okay, so that's for you, Libras. And your message is, great change is coming to you. But this can only occur if you are willing to shift your perception. You may be experiencing resistance to change, but please know this is simply fear of the new, not intuition. If you are wondering what is the best course of action, the Anunnaki are encouraging you to go with the new. Old systems, old ways of being, and old ways of doing things must be released if you are to evolve. Change can bring a sense of vulnerability, but will allow you to make a deeper connection to your feelings, gifts, and what is so important to you. You are standing at a gateway of pure potential that will be ignited as soon as you move through this necessary change. Be open to new information, new processes, and new ideas. You are part of the new energy upon the earth. All right. So, hey, Libras, change, 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 change. There's some old habits, patterns, ways, thinking, something that the universe is really saying is a good time to let it go, and it's also, hey, that release message, realize when that release message comes, it's actually saying to you, if you release this now, it's going to be much easier than you think. It's literally saying, hey, the universe, the energy around you now supports you releasing this. So if you agree, then it's going to be your transition of releasing this habit, thing, person, place, whatever, is going to be easier if you do it now. The time is aligned for you to release these things now. And that's a big message, because sometimes, we don't really, sometimes we know, our soul always knows. And again, these messages are divine reminders for your soul. So remember, your soul always knows when it's a good time to release, when it's a good time to stop something, when it's a good time to start something. And we sometimes in our physical, like, oh, I like this, and this is how I've been doing it. And sometimes we actually say that, oh, I've been doing this forever. I've been doing this for 10 years. I've been doing this. Or maybe that's too long, So when we get these reminders, these divine reminders saying, this is a good time to change. Gotta trust that, because it's actually our soul, our higher self is actually saying, what you're asking for requires the shift and change and release from you now, so that we can bring into you what it is that you are asking us for. What are you asking us to assist and help you to manifest, right? So time is now, Libras, to make those shifts. Whatever it is you've been thinking of shifting and releasing, it's a good season. May it's a good month to do it. All right. And it'll be easier for you. Again, number 13, every cycle brings a higher opportunity. 13 is all about releasing, right? Opening up to release, to bring that new thing in. That's why they taught us for so long that 13 was that scary number. They want you to fear that release. They want you to fear that 13, that floor, that level that brings in so much new things, that level where we're supposed to open ourselves up to the higher opportunity. They're like, no, we want you to fear it. So really, I mean, this message is so powerful right here, Libra. I mean, it just came through perfectly, right? Divine reminders for your soul. Release 13 is all about releasing the power that we claim when we're able to release our fear and open up and bring in what's new. All right, let's go into the book. All right, number 13. Each and every turn in the cycle of life is a new way of coming back to your truest essence, the one you've always held sacred. This is your cosmic blueprint, being expressed more fully and wisely with each turn of spiral. You keep coming back to the same things you've always loved, but with new insights and experience. There are cycles within cycles within cycles in all of nature. If you bring awareness to your life, you will find patterns. Patterns of when to plant seeds and when to harvest ideas. Where is the pattern in this current situation? The clues were always there. What you loved as a child is typically your deepest soul expression. Now, with new eyes, skills, talents, and resources, you can bring this life in a whole new way. And it doesn't have to be just one thing, because your unique genius is a perfect combination of everything that makes you up. So divine reminder, Libra, you don't have to give up any part of yourself to reach your wholeness, right? And to really activate that soul mission. There's no giving up. It's just, again, stepping beyond the fear and allowing all of it to come in, right? Your cosmic catalyst. What did I love as a kid? And how can I bring more of this energy back into my life? So again, a lot of inner child, the kid. So there's some inner child healing. Again, that inner child healing is always about allowing ourselves to be our full cosmic self. We don't leave anything out. We're not fearing any parts of ourself. Again, the number 13, instead of the fear of 13, allowing the 13, which is allowing the higher opportunity, allowing the bigger picture to come in, right? Stepping beyond our fears. Cosmic checkbox. Set up a play date for yourself, mark it on your calendar, and simply create a day of exploring what you loved as a kid. Isn't that wonderful? So Libras, set up a play date and just be a kid. Be a kid all day and do exactly what you want to do. And then, you know what? Keep on doing that every day and work towards that being your everyday. It's a journey, and it will show you so much of yourself. Right? You got to do it. You have to allow yourself to step into your next being, your next level of opportunity, your next level of self. That's what divine reminders, that's what the universe wants to remind you of, Libra, right? And now we're going to go into these karmic relationships and see what messages they have there for you, Libra, to come back into balance, right? To give yourself justice, justify your soul mission. Libra is about balance and justice, but we need to be just and fair to our soul, our whole self, and allow our whole self, our inner child, to come on out and play. That's a huge divine reminder, Libra, allowing your inner child to come on out and play and be free to play without judgment and fear and criticism, right? So that's a gift that you must allow. That's the new information. That's the end of the cycle, no longer allowing that inner child, your true gifts and powers, and the things that people said, nah, you can't do that. Now you got to let them be. Yeah, that's the energetic shift that the universe is asking you to make. That's reminding your soul to activate within you now. You got to be on board with it. Okay. Karmic relationships. Let's look into that. Because those are maybe what you need to use as your navigation to clear up, right? Some karmic relationships. And remember, everything comes to us, especially divine reminders. They come to us in divine timing, right? And your oversoul is saying, hey, this would be a good season to clear this up, to shift through this. Now this deck is fun. Anyway, let me not say this. Sometimes these cards quote themselves. So I don't use this deck too often. I've had it for a while, and it didn't pull me in until I got the divine reminder to do these readings. And then it was like bang, bang, bang. I knew exactly which decks to use. So, again, divine timing. I bought this deck a minute ago, and haven't really used it that much, but now here it is, Okay. Oh, they're calling it something else. That's why. Okay. So the card says karmic relationships, but the book says, no, hold on. Because that's karmic board clearing, which I'm like, okay, that's two different things. Well, that's interesting, because this card does not have, unless it's the same thing, it's not. That's so interesting. And I've never experienced that at all. So this card just is not displayed in the deck book. So it says karmic relationships, Orion energy. Orion is always in the sky. I love Orion constellation. And let's think about it. So I'm gonna just do it without the book because I can't find it. So karmic relationships, it's just not listed. So yeah, it's not on this list. So karmic relationships, now Orion. Orion is that constellation, and in Egyptian astrology, Orion would, I think they say that Orion is where we actually go for when we go. Okay, yeah. Orion is where we go in the afterlife, according to the Egyptian teachings, right? That our in the afterlife, our soul or our spirit will go with our guides and be judged by Maat, right? But where do we go? We go to Orion. And when I see Orion now, I actually started looking at Orion and saying, hey, it's mind, body, spirit. That's the three, because it's three. It's like the Orion's belt, right? But when I'm looking at it from here, it looks like that as opposed to that. And I started looking at it like mind, body, spirit. And that's why we travel to Orion in the afterlife to go through that process and maybe to have that evaluation. Is our heart light as a feather, right? And it says polarity, the law of polarity. Now, I don't know the law of polarity too well, but I do know that, well, there's poles, right? Everything has an opposite to it, right? So, and then they say that soul growth and conflict. So, and with this whole message of change for you, right? So I would say, again, going up to Orion, this balance of your bad energy and allowing the death of something to come in and this conflict. So it's time to do your karmic clearings, right? Because they're going to continue to cause conflicts in your life. So what relationships are now listen, all relationships serve us, but we got to clear through relationships in order to release the conflict. Like if your interaction with either a person, a job, an activity, some relationship, if that keeps on circling back into your life, that's not so much of a problem. But what my observations recently have been like, if things circle back, and when they circle back, it's disharmony, then that's indicating that, hey, this is something I need to release. This is something I need to clear. This is something that I need to learn how to deal with this in a way that is not going to bring more conflict to me, but actually create more peace and wholeness. And there is a science of that, really, you know what I mean? And it takes the change and the shifting and the new perceptions of us in order to allow that thing that was a conflict to no longer be a conflict in your life. And a lot of that, again, is doing the karmic clearing. And the karmic clearing is that shadow work. Right? I was looking through the wrong book. I love it. That's why I couldn't find it. I was looking through the wrong book. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love that I had that moment of clarity before I stopped this video. Oh man. So let's see what this book is gonna say. This means this Libra one is a little extra special because yeah, there it is. Number 84, karmic relationships. Now let's see if I got it. Or if the book has something completely different for you. But everything is purposeful, right? So nothing happens by accident. There are no mistakes, and everything happens for a purpose. So let's see, number 84. If the message is completely different, then there was a reason that I needed to send that message out to you, Libras, as well. All right. Karmic relationships. I love this card. The more I look at it, the more I like it. Like I said, I don't really know this deck too well. But I just love I like the energy of the blueness, yeah, the stars, and yeah. Anyway, back to you, Libra. All right, so the constellation of Orion is thought by many to have been a place of great polarity and eventual unity. Some believe that many starseeds who were part of the cosmic history are incarnate on Earth now and are playing out karmic relationships from Orion times. Perhaps you're one of them. Polarity causes conflict and highlights separation. However, because of this, conflict can result in unity and growth. Too many misunderstandings are caused when we don't open our heart and mind and see things from a different point of view. See, I wasn't wrong. I was right. When we go into reactive second guessing mode instead of gathering the courage to open our heart, we should admit that we may have reacted because of our own woundings and then find mutual ground. Yeah, and that's what I was saying, like, that it's a you got to learn it, and the only way you learn is really about coming into the more and more awareness of yourself and being allowing yourself to be more gentle with whatever it is coming to you, you know especially our triggers, because again, our triggers literally show us where we're wounded. And we really have to accept that. I was reading something the other day about the sacred wound, and it was so powerful because it's realizing that, yeah, I am wounded. And my wound is part of the universal collective sacred wound. We're all wounded in some way, So as I focus on my wound and heal my wound and learn the wisdom of my wound and and alchemize my wound and the power of my wound, then that manifests into the collective. And now, instead of the wounded me, it's the wisdom me, and that's part of the wisdom of humanity. You know what I mean? So we have to understand that I don't care what it is. If it's wounded you, if it's triggered you, that's where you take that silence. That's where you now, again, that new perspective is learning yourself in that, seeing yourself clearly. And it's not about what anybody is doing to you. In that moment, it's all now about how you handle yourself, how you respond versus reacting to what is a karmic wound and a trigger, and that takes practice. That doesn't happen overnight, and that takes clearing out. You know what I mean? So it takes some time to get there. It takes some work to get there, but you can get there. We all have to get there for ourselves, and especially the Libras, because the Libra, again, these are soul reminders. So divine reminders for your soul, because the Libra is here to be in balance. So the Libra, you gotta work on your karmic stuff because you're out of balance. And that's not who you came to be. You came to be the one to symbol justice and balance, so you got to bring yourself into balance to truly serve your purpose, and that takes clearing up the karmic relationships and the bonds and healing them. A lot of people like to say, well, I need to cut my bond, or detach from it or sever, but really I've come to realize, no, it's not about cutting away, but it's really about healing it and mending it and nurturing it and taking care of it and loving it. And that's where the healing comes from. But we have to have that commitment to our own healing in order to give it that type of love, as opposed to just cutting it out and throwing it off. Because again, we're always connected to everything, so again, it's just how you decide to approach it. And there's no right or wrong way, but you decide what is the best thing for you, to cut or to heal, and maybe you get both. You cut first and then heal, or you heal first and cut, or whatever it is, because like I said, there is no one way. There really isn't a one way. It's for you to find your way and to be aware if your way is serving you and putting you in harmony and putting you in balance and bringing about justice to yourself and to others, to the higher picture and the whole community. All right. It says, how can you oh my God, how can you soften your heart and drop your defenses enough to see things from a different point of view? How can you see the innocence of all involved? How can you learn to see the similarities rather than the differences? And again, these are questions that when you are wounded or when you are triggered, these are the questions that you have to kind of like say, you know what, I need about 10 minutes or 20 minutes or a day. And I got to ask myself these questions. And then I can come back. And then I'm going to share. And then I'm going to respond. Because really, this is about me, not about the outside thing. And that's really how we heal. Okay. That's how we come into wholeness for ourselves. Right. So your starseed soul inquiry, Libra, is: which relationships do you find most challenging? How can you see things from a different perspective? And how are you being called to allow growth through conflict? So Libras, when the conflicting things come up, those conflicting moments, those conversations, those days that are full of conflicts, it ain't coming to you for you to row and complain about it and to cuss. It really isn't. In this timeline, I swear these things just make you go backwards. In this timeline, what it's really asking you to is shift, release, see it from a different perspective, change, and go higher. All right, your soul is speaking to you in those moments. We have a tendency to project out. We got to project in. When you get into those moments, those times, that's now time for you to say, I'm not going to project this issue out. I'm going to turn that lens in, deep in. And let me see why this is bothering me so much. And the more you do that, Libra, the more you will access your higher level and your next opportunities. All right. So, special message. All right. Stay in balance. That's what you're here for. Okay. Divine reminder to your soul and to you, Libras. Have a wonderful, wonderful month. Have a wonderful May. Bye. Activate. Hey, Dad.